Man raised from the dead. Dr. Charles A. Blanchard tells how God raised the dead. Dr. Charles A. Blanchard, late president of Wheaton College, Wheaton, Illinois, was the author of a blessed book on prayer, Getting Things from God. The book is published by the Moody Press of Chicago. Dr. Blanchard tells the remarkable story of a railroad engineer raised from the dead in answer to his wife's prayer. A railroad engineer testifies. I was a few weeks ago in the 8th Avenue Mission in New York. On the platform by me sat a gentleman, to whom I was introduced, but whom I had never before seen. When the meeting had progressed for an hour or so, Miss Ray, the superintendent, called upon him for a testimony. He said, "Friends, about 2.5 or 3 years ago I was in the hospital in Philadelphia. I was an engineer on the Pennsylvania lines, and although I had a praying wife, I had all my life being a sinful man. At this time I was very ill. I became greatly wasted. I weighed less than 100 pounds. Finally, the doctor who was attending me said to my wife that I was dead, but she said, 'No, he is not dead. He cannot be dead. I have prayed for him for 27 years and God has promised me that he should be saved. Do you think God would let him die? No, after I have prayed 27 years and God has promised and he's not saved.' Well, the doctor replied, 'I do not know anything about that, but I know that he is dead.' And the screen was drawn around the cot, which in the hospital separates between the living and the dead. To satisfy my wife, other physicians were brought, one after the other, until 7 were about the cot, and each one of them as he came up and made the examination confirmed the testimony of all who had preceded. The 7 doctors said I was dead. Meanwhile my wife was kneeling by the side of my cot, insisting that I was not dead, and that if I were dead that God would bring me back, for he had promised her that I should be saved and I was not yet saved. By and by her knees began to pain her. Kneeling on the hard hospital floor, she asked the nurse for a pillow and the nurse brought her a pillow upon which she kneeled. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours passed. The screen still stood by the cot. I was laying there still, apparently dead. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 13 hours passed, and all this while my wife was kneeling by the cat's side, and when people remonstrated and wished her to go away she said, "No, he has to be saved. God will bring him back if he is dead. He is not dead. He cannot die until he is saved." At the end of 13 hours I opened my eyes, and she said, "What do you wish, my dear?" And I said, "I wish to go home." And she said, "You shall go home." But when she proposed it, the doctors raised their hands in horror. They said, "Why, it will kill him. It will be suicide." She said, "You have had your turn. You said he was dead already. I am going to take him home. I weigh now 246 pounds. I still run a fast train on the Pennsylvania lines. I have been out to Minneapolis on a little vacation, telling men what Jesus can do, and I'm glad to tell you what Jesus can do." Dr. Charles Blanchard was a great educator, a man of national prominence, a scholar as well as a devout Christian. Was not hard for him to believe that God had answered. This report was taken from a book. Imagine if she had given up sooner.